Have you ever read something that just clicks, where everything flows and makes perfect sense? Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. That's almost never an accident. It's design. Today, we're going to learn how to read like detectives, spotting the clues authors leave for us in plain sight.
So, think about it. When a piece of writing really works, is it just a happy coincidence? Did the author just get super lucky and all the words fell into the right place?
Or is it something else entirely? Is it more like an architect's blueprint where every single choice, from the foundation all the way up to the paint color, is intentional and has a specific purpose? That's the idea we're diving into. Exactly. So let's put on our detective hats. You got to think of every text as having a secret master plan, and our job is to uncover it. These aren't just random words on a page. They are clues. They are evidence pointing to a much larger, deliberate design. Okay, so to decode that blueprint, first we need to get familiar with the author's tools. I mean, every master builder has a toolkit, right? Writers are no different. They use these specific features to build their arguments and to guide us, the readers. So let's open up that toolkit and see what's inside.
And here it is. This is basically our secret decoder ring for reading. Let's run through these 5 key tools real quick. A heading? That's the big signpost telling you what's coming next. A bold word? That's the author basically shouting, hey, this part is really important. A caption connects a picture to the story. A sidebar is like a fun little detour with extra trivia. And a bullet list? That's all about making information super easy to scan and digest.
All right, you've seen the tools. Time for a little pop quiz. Let's say an author puts in a chart that compares a bunch of different desert animals. What's the main reason for doing that? What's the purpose?
If you were thinking to compare ideas, you nailed it. A chart is the perfect tool for putting information side by side. It makes it so easy for us to see what's the same and what's different at a single glance.
Okay, next one. You see a picture of a big cactus, and right underneath it, there's a short sentence. What do we call that, and what's its job?
That, my friend, is a caption. Its whole purpose is to give us visual help. It connects that photo to the main text and adds a little bit of context that we might have missed otherwise. Great job!
And for the final round, you spot a little box, kind of off to the side of the main article. It's got a cool little fact in it, like, some camels can store 80 pounds of fat. Why would an author stick that in a separate box? To give a fun fact, of course. That's a classic sidebar. It's information that's super interesting, but maybe doesn't fit perfectly into the main flow. It's just too cool to leave out. And boom, you've just mastered the author's toolkit.
So now that we have our decoder ring and we know what all these tools are for, let's actually put them to use. We are officially on the case, and we're going to analyze a real piece of text to see this author's blueprint come to life.
Okay, let's start at the top. The author gives us a big, bold heading, Surviving the Heat. Right away, before we've even read a single sentence of the paragraph, we know exactly what this section is about. Our brain is already primed and focused. And then, right under that, a subheading, Cool Behaviors. See what they did there? It's a clever move. We've gone from the general topic of survival to the super specific topic of what animals do to stay cool. It's like a signpost pointing to a path off of a main road. Now imagine seeing this sentence right next to a photo of a desert fox. That's our caption. And notice, it doesn't just say, this is a fox. It gives you a crucial piece of information that ties directly back to our theme of surviving heat. It connects the visual evidence to the main idea.
And finally, we get this list. So, why use bullets? Why not just write all this out in a long paragraph? Well, it's because the author wants these 3 distinct facts to pop. They want the information to be scannable, easy to read, and easy to remember. Every single one of these choices was made for a reason.
Okay, so we've seen how this works in a pretty straightforward article. But, this skill, this way of looking for intentional design, it doesn't just apply to textbooks. What happens when we take this same detective's lens and apply it to something with an even deeper, more profound purpose?
The source material we're looking at actually takes this concept a step further and applies it to religious texts. The argument is that learning to see the design in everyday writing kind of trains our minds to look for a similar intentional structure in Scripture, where, according to this view, nothing is there by accident. And this is a perfect example from the source. When you look at the 4 Gospels, they aren't just 4 random guys telling the same story. According to this analysis, each one was written with a very specific purpose. Matthew presents Jesus as king. Mark shows him as a servant.
Luke focuses on him as a man, and John presents him as God. It's like each book is its own unique text feature designed to show us a different facet of the same person.
So what's the big takeaway here? Why does any of this matter? I mean, why should we learn to see the blueprint behind the words? Well, it turns out it's about a lot more than just becoming a better reader. It's about learning to see purpose itself.
This quote from the source really gets to the heart of the whole thing. The idea is that when we practice recognizing purpose in a simple text, we train our minds to start looking for purpose everywhere. It can shift our entire perspective from just seeing random events to seeing an intentional design.
And this leads to an even bigger idea about education. The argument presented is that just learning skills isn't really enough. It's learning with a sense of purpose that truly changes us. Education without some kind of moral compass can actually be harmful. But a mind that's focused on finding purpose, well, that's where you find clarity and peace.
So, I'll just leave you with this final question to think about. Now that you know how to look for the author's intent, for the hidden structure, for all those deliberate choices, what other blueprints can you start to see? Not just in the things you read, but in the world around you, and maybe even in your own life. What's the purpose behind the design?